Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to our JEVS and TLCC X series that we do monthly. Today we have a very special topic, what's new in the IBM Notes and Domino Social Edition. And yesterday, if you attended the IBM webinar, you probably heard that we can now have the official name, which is what's new in the Notes and Domino 9 Social Edition beta. So we're going to learn all about this from an application developer point of view. Okay, my name is Howard Greenberg. I'm a partner here at TLCC, and I'll be one of your hosts today. And my partner at TLCC, Paul, is our other host.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so we have three speakers today. Ed Brill is going to give us an overview, and Dan O'Connor is going to talk about what's new in the Social Edition from a designer point of view. And finally, Martin will speak about what's new in the Social Edition from an XPages point of view.
Okay, and Paul again, and I do have the privilege of doing the introductions for each of our speakers today. And first up, probably doesn't need much of an introduction. Ed, actually, if you can unmute and join me here. But Ed Brill, of course you know him, he's the Director of Social Business and Collaboration Solutions at IBM. You may be following his blog at www.edbrill.com, and if you're not, you certainly want to. And on Twitter, Ed Brill, or at Ed Brill. Ed, you've got a new book that's coming out soon, Opting In.
That's true.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? When are we going to see this?
If all goes well, the book should be available in January, right before IBM Connect 2013.
Okay, looking forward to that one. Ed, what are you going to talk to today?
So I'm sure word is not new on this call today that we have announced plans for a public beta of Notes and Domino Social Edition. We did that yesterday. And we've also indicated, as was commented in the early part of the broadcast, that we'll be aligning with the IBM brand for this release, as well as calling it in the beta form version 9, whereas the earlier betas and the work we've done here to now has been called version 8.5.4. And we've done that because this is a major release. The things that Dan and Martin are going to show you today in the app dev piece will show you, sort of some of our reasons for that, but that's just one part of the equation. Obviously, with the improvements in the client and the iNotes experience and the server and Traveler and the browser plugin that's coming in this release, there's just a lot of new stuff across the board that we think is compelling enough to call this version 9. So, so I have a few slides, so let's get into those. Is that all right? All right, I guess. We can take you through the agenda here first. So I'm going to talk about Notes and Domino Social Edition, and then the guys with the real technical expertise will get into the details, and then I'll be back at the end with Q&A as well. So let's go ahead. So Notes and Domino Social Edition, IBM Notes and Domino Social Edition is planned for the first quarter of 2013. Public beta will come on December 14th or thereabouts. And this is the release we've been working on and talking about for most of this calendar year and probably into last. From the client perspective, we're really focused on a lot of what we had called the Project Vulkan vision and blueprint. So embedded application experiences using the Open Social Standard and protocols, the ability to surface the activity stream, some improvements to mail, calendar, and contacts, an overall tighter user interface, much improved and consistent with the IBM One UI experience across the board. So lots and lots of improvements to both Notes and iNotes, and we'll get into that a little bit. We've updated the entitlements for connections. Actually, we did that today. We're not going to wait for the release here. If you are looking for connections, files, and profiles version 4 as part of your Notes entitlement on Passport Advantage starting today, you can get that, as well as the new version of Tivoli Directory Integrator 7.1 is now part of that as well. The browser plugin, I have a slide on that. I think this will really change the game for customers that have had Notes applications for quite some time and being able to surface those in a browser without modification. In Traveler, there's some improvements. I have a slide on that as well. And again, public beta coming within the next 30 days, as announced yesterday, of course. And you can visit my website to get a link to enroll in that public beta. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so on the Domino server side, this release was not a release where we were primarily focused on the Domino server. This is a release where we were more focused on the client and client experiences side of the equation. But there are some improvements in the server. There's some new tools for database management and some new tools for administration. There's also some security enhancements, including SHA-2 support for encryption that's been driven out of markets such as Brazil and the Czech Republic, and a credential store for OAuth, and then more single sign-on capabilities via SAML, some of the work that we had done in Smart Cloud Nodes thing, and are now bringing that into the premises product as well. On the platform side, we're going to ship our first Windows 2012 server support and 64-bit version of the Domino server on Linux. Let's move ahead. On Traveler, in the beta, you'll find a few new improvements, mainly in terms of platform support as well. On the server side, we're expanding the Traveler server to now run on System I platform in addition to Windows and Linux. On the client and client interface side, we're going to support Windows Phone 7.5, Windows Phone 8, and Windows Surface tablets through the ActiveSync protocol. And then we will also support BlackBerry 10 devices through their new architecture, which is also using the ActiveSync protocol. So a bunch of new platform support, some things in the Traveler space that are coming sooner. In the next 30 days, we'll have an update, an upgrade pack to Traveler. Actually, it's 853 Upgrade Pack 2, which will provide support for to-dos on both iOS and Android. Beyond the feature release in Q1, some of the things we're thinking about for Traveler beyond that are listed here: integration with meetings, more encrypted mail support, smart forward and reply in terms of being able to carry forward activities that are already underway, attachment security policy for preventing data leaks and data loss, etc. So those are all things in the roadmap for Traveler beyond the social edition release. So let's keep going. Okay, in the client side, the Notes 9 Social Edition beta client will show you a number of consumability enhancements. The overall look and feel, as you see in the screenshot here, is greatly enhanced. Very, very slick. I've been using this for several months, and I kind of forget what Notes 8 5X had been looking like. There's so much improvement here. But it's a theme. It's the One UI theme, and so you can easily revert to the Notes 8 5X experience with a single desktop setting. So if you're not ready to retrain users on new UI work, that's not a problem. Having said that, though, we think that it would be very easy to adopt to the new interface. We're trying to take consumerization types of cues and go from there. Some of these individual features are things that we should have gotten to sooner. Some of them are things that are returning to Notes that were not in version 8 but had been in earlier versions. And then the shortcut buttons will give you single-click access to the most commonly used applications within the Notes client environment. One other thing that's not on this slide is that in starting the Notes 9 Social Edition client for the first time, you'll be presented with a Discover page. And the Discover page is a here's what you do in Notes tutorial kind of a solution, not just in terms of what's new in this release, but really tips and tricks on how to use Notes overall. And we've even embedded tutorials and videos into that Discover page. So for a long time we've heard, sort of concerns about my user just got Notes and they go, what now? And I think the Discover page really answers that what now kind of question. So pretty excited about that work. Next slide. On the iNotes side, we've done some pretty significant work. This is the first release where I would say not only is the browser experience on par for mail and calendar with the Notes client, it actually exceeds it in a couple of places. So, it's an opportunity to take advantage of some of the new technologies we can use to develop user interfaces on the web. So there are some experiences and features in iNotes in Social Edition Beta that I think will really improve and increase the use of web-based mail on Domino. And these include improved scheduler widget, they improve the ability to use live text, more extensibility in the sidebar, drag and drop, not listed on this slide, to be able to populate a mail message with files. So just a lot of capabilities here. And over time, you'll see the social mail experience that we designed for IBM Connections Mail start to merge into iNotes as well. All right, next slide. All right, so the browser plugin, I mentioned this a couple of times, and for app developers, this is a really important piece of the equation. So while the rest of today, we're going to mostly talk about new improvements in Designer and specifically in the XPages space, there are certain applications that we recognize it's not worth the investment to try to modernize or change those experiences. They work and they work well, and so why touch them or change them? And so what we've been asked to do for many years is how do you webify those apps? And a combination of XPages and just sort of overall application modernization has been the answer. But now we're going to provide an additional approach through a plugin that can be installed in the browser and is basically a Notes client. And so it'll run Notes applications without modification. Basically anything that runs in the Notes 8 basic configuration should be able to run in the browser plugin, which will be available for both IE and Firefox initially. There are some limitations. It's Windows only, at least for now. It doesn't have any kind of offline support. It doesn't provide any kind of composite application or Eclipse-based support. But for the traditional NSF-based application, it's a great way to use that app in the browser without having to modify it. It is Notes. It's not web. It's not HTML. It's NRPC over HTTP. Not using HTTP, it's using standard Notes protocols, uses the Notes ID file. So everything about it being a Notes client is intact, except that it's a 50 or 60 megabyte download that's pushed into the browser as opposed to installed as a separate piece of the desktop equation. We've had lots of great feedback on the browser plugin, and I think this is probably one of the most anticipated parts of this release. Yeah, I think that's up. So I'll hang up for Q&A. And now we can get to the real technical people and get into some details.